Hey YouTube, Ryu Knight here. I ended up actually getting into discussion with one of the people that I used to go to school with. He ended up dropping out of the program because he figured out nursing just wasn't for him. So, fair enough. Understand it. Hell, I'm still not 100% sure it's for me. But I ended up seeing him at the store, and we ended up having a discussion, catching up, that sort of thing. Well, he went to a university instead of a trade school, and he kind of got a bit of a culture shock. He sat there and said, it's just nothing but debate after debate after debate. I'm all like, no, dude. It's not debate after debate after debate. People wouldn't have a problem if it was debate after debate after debate. That's been a main staple of a lot of our major colleges, is debating. No, what it is it's argument after argument after argument. And he kind of looked at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm all like, you do realize there's a difference between arguing and debating, right? So I thought it was kind of an interchangeable thing. I thought it was just one was official and one wasn't. I'm all like, no, dude, no. It's very, very different. A couple has an argument. A child has an argument with their parent. Drunk people at the bar have arguments. When you are debating someone, it's a very different thing, because debates not only have more of a structure to them, it's not who can yell the loudest. It's meant to give an equal playing field to both parties. And so it comes down to the strength of their ability to argue their point, not their ability to yell louder, not their ability to throw more insults. And debates are typically done in a very public forum, because the thing is it's not the two people debating that decide. It's not even the moderator that decides if you're in an official debate. Which, finding a moderator nowadays that's actually going to be fair, no. You're not finding that anymore. So, let's just go ahead and say this. The art of debate right now is at the very least comatose. It's not an active part of society anymore. But the thing is both people bring their points. One person says their piece, the other person responds. Then they say their piece, and then the first person responds. Back and forth, back and forth. Very fair. Very equal playing ground. At that point, you've got time limits set on how long you can go off. So you have to really keep the rants down to a minimum, unless you're willing to sacrifice time for a rant. So you have to really think that rant is going to, just really persuade people. Because the thing is it's ultimately the audience that decides. And it's not one of those things where you end up getting a clear-cut winner most of the time. It's usually more of a food for thought thing. It's just quick, concise, specialized dissemination of information from two opposing views. Which is fine. A lot of people can digest that very quickly. especially people in a college setting who are used to having to suddenly absorb large amounts of information just out of the blue. However, you don't see that anymore. You see a lot of people, and the thing is, I got to give credit to the right on this. And like I've said before, I'm a centrist. You know, I'm neither right nor left. I'm actually right smack dab in the middle on the political spectrum. I'm pretty much right in the center of that four-way street. Really sucks because I get hit by traffic from everywhere. But I gotta give props to the right. And the thing is he even noticed this. People on the right are sitting there and saying, well, meet me on the debate platform. Literally challenging people to debates. But the thing is the people on the left say they won't share a platform with and then they throw out some random bullshit, you know? Anyone who's dealt with the far left or the far right knows what I'm talking about. Because the far left and the far right are just as bad as each other. It's just the far right doesn't have a whole lot of power. Contrary to what the far left says. But that's the way that the far left argues. They argue that they're this helpless entity that needs all these extra protections, and they need their opponent kneecapped so they can even stand a chance. To a degree, I will actually agree with them, because when I've actually seen a far right individual debating a far left individual, on those rare occasions, the far right individual ended up completely demolishing the far left person. Like, they couldn't argue against it. It ended up coming down to them just sitting there and hurling insults for 15 minutes straight, just hoping something would stick. Whereas the person on the far right was bringing up statistics, studies, averages, case studies. I mean, it was brutal. Straight up modern day intellectual gladiator. It was absolutely horrible, except for the fact that it wasn't two gladiators in there. You had this big trained from birth gladiator. Basically, if you were to throw a fucking Spartan in there with someone who had never even held a weapon in their life. I mean, in all honesty, that's the... If I was to actually make a video on it where I animated it, oh my god, it would be one of the most brutal things. I could not put it up onto YouTube because at some point a dick went into an ass. Again, on an intellectual, metaphorical way of looking at it, but in all honesty, it was absolutely horrible to watch. I mean, I like good debates where it's a even match. You know, they're both bringing up good points, and you don't get that with the far left and the far right. The far right has a lot more valid points that they can actively prove, whereas with the far left, it's, you have to trust me on this. No, I don't have to trust you. In fact, I'm not here to trust you. You are here to convince me to trust you. You can't expect me to trust you right out the gate. That's not how it works. And the person from the far right is used to people being completely 100% against them from the start. So basically their entire life has been them sharpening those combat claws constantly. But it was absolutely amazing to watch. Sorry, the neighbor's dog was going off and I was trying to see what was going on. But no, it was absolutely amazing to watch, because I knew that it was a little bit of a lopsided argument, but I didn't realize how lopsided it was. Well, he was sitting there and saying, you know, he would sit there and just try to have honest discussions with people. He was going in from nursing school into this political environment. The two are not compatible. You can't sit there and be ruled by your biases, by your preconceived notions. You can't be ruled by that in nursing school, or you're going to fail. You are going to get yourself kicked out. You have to be able to set that aside. You have to be able to check your personal shit at the door. Just like within the nursing field, you have to be able to check your shit at the door, because you have to give everyone the same treatment. And it's not one of those things where it's paid lip service. No, if you are caught giving someone lesser service because of skin color or sexual orientation, anything like that, even if you're having to take care of a criminal who's in there that is bragging about doing the most heinous shit, you still have to give them that same level of care. A lot of people don't realize that about nursing. The thing is you actually have to do that not only on a moral standard, because your license can get pulled. You don't have to be sued for your license to get pulled, but usually the two coincide. Usually if you do something that can get your license pulled, you're also getting hit with a lawsuit. And these aren't small lawsuits either. You know, I mean, these are massive, horrendous lawsuits. And you can very easily be put in jail if you don't walk that fine line. But like I said, it was a culture shock for him. He went in there because in our nursing school, nothing is sacred. You can have a discussion about anything and everything, as long as you keep the facts straight. Now, if someone can actively prove that you're throwing out false information knowingly, or even if it's not knowingly, even if it's something that you should know is false, or that you should question, that you should have looked more into, you can get kicked out. And even if you don't get kicked out, you lose a lot of respect, and also your professionalism score goes through the floor. You have to know your shit if you're going to be wading into those waters. And unfortunately, there are class assignments that force you to wade into those waters. You have to get good at doing that research. You have to get good at finding the information and making sense of it all very, very quickly. I'm not talking about 2 or 3 days. I'm talking about less than an hour on a subject, even if you've never come across that subject before. You have an hour to basically become an expert in it. Not fun. But the thing is he's sitting there and trying to have these discussions because people are bringing the stuff up to him. And so he's using the information that he has looked up in the past. He's using those skills that he learned in nursing school. And people are absolutely railing on him. He said it's gotten to the point where he's not going to the bar anymore. He's not going to parties. He's not doing anything. He is not being social. If he wants to be social, he heads out of town to be social. Just so that way there's no chance of him randomly coming across someone that can say something. And he always makes sure that he has proof that he was out of town, so that way people can't sit there and make some false claim against him. And he's not a paranoid guy. In fact, he's pretty much a dumbass when it comes to that sort of thing. He's way too trusting. That's what the college system did to someone who was trusting enough to where someone could probably have sold him a non-existent item and him not figure it out until like 3 weeks later. I mean, that's the level of trusting that he had before he went into these colleges. Now, everything is almost to the level of litigious with him. And he's not worried about the right. He's not worried about the right going after him. And he's black. I mean, hell, he always jokes that, you know, he would make the perfect night ops person. He's all like, dude, as soon as it comes to nighttime, all I have to do is take off my armor and just go running out there. As long as I don't smile or open my eyes too big, I'm invisible. I always laugh when he fucking says it, but this guy, yeah, he's that level of black. And he isn't afraid of the right. He's not scared of them. He's never had a problem with them. People always joke that Reading, you know, is this, you know, city. Guess what? It is. But we still don't have that problem. Even though there are people around here who have those beliefs, they basically keep it to themselves. I'm not one of those people. I have no problems with someone based off of skin color. What I have a problem with is people based off of their actions. I judge people based off of who they are as an individual, not what they are as far as their past. I don't care about your genetic lineage. The only things I care about is, are you here legally? Are you paying your taxes? Are you at least putting in the effort? That's it. Those are the only ways that you can have me just instantly look at you like you worthless motherfucking piece of shit. But the thing is, you've got all these people that are so scared of a boogeyman now that they're on a full-fledged witch hunt. They're seriously trying to put innocent people down. And I ain't talking about putting them down as in making them feel bad about themselves. I'm talking about putting them down as in them being dead. The same way you put down a rabid dog. Hell, they'd probably be more humane to the rabid dog. But when I was talking with him, it really struck me. People don't understand the difference between an argument and a debate anymore. There is a difference, people. And the fact that people don't know the difference just shows how long we have gone without a true debate system in our schools. Hell, for a while there, they had debate clubs in grade school. You don't see that anymore. But I mean, hell, you don't see regular football anymore other than Pop Warner. And even then, they're pussifying the shit out of that. Everyone gets a trophy just for being here. Yeah, great. Real way to motivate them to do better. But That's a video for another time. But yeah. So, as far as a debate versus an argument, a debate is fairly civil. An argument can go in any direction. That's the main difference. There's basically rules of engagement with a debate, whereas with argument, any guy who's married that's gotten into an argument with his wife, at that point, you know that during an argument, nothing is sacred, and the only time the truth comes out is when you're at the point where you're about to go to blows anyway. Whereas with a debate, it's all about what's true. It's also about admitting mistakes that you might have made or things that you might have overlooked. Because during a debate, if someone does that, they actually get a lot more clout from the audience. Because then it shows that they're actually thinking about it and they're actually trying to get to that point of having an answer, or at least something close to an answer. At least being able to make some semblance of sense about it. So, to people going to regular universities and not trade schools or, privately owned, I feel bad for you. I really do. Because the thing is you're not getting debating skills, you're getting arguing skills. And the thing is a lot of people like a debate, very few people like an argument. I mean, everyone's got an argument to make. Very few people can actually debate. Because it actually takes a fully functioning brain to debate and actual knowledge about the subject matter. Whereas you can sit there and make an argument on something where you have absolutely no fucking clue what it is. In fact, we've seen that happen on the news more than a few times, where people were all like, well, what do you think about this? Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, what do you think about this? Well, I don't know about that. What do you think about this person? Who is that? The person that's in charge of the rally that you're at? Yeah. Your tax dollars at work, people. Great job. So, gonna go ahead, I'm gonna end the video, but gonna leave you with this one note. If someone ever challenges you to an actual debate, if you refuse, then you just admitted that you are absolutely wrong, that you do not think that you can actually take them on. You are actually admitting at that point that your position is indeed inferior and less provable than theirs.